Hey everybody, it looks like we are live. We made it to yet another Wednesday. It's so good to see everybody, and looks like we have a lot of great people here today. Let's see, we have John Payne. How you doing? How you doing, Blue? Good to see you. Roy's here, Color Graphics, and we have John Diekman from Wisconsin. Great to see you. And Fred, all the way from the UK. Great to see you, Fred. That is fantastic. Sam, how are you, sir? Good to see you, Sam. And Patty, how you doing, Patty? And Colette, great to see you, ladies. And so, yes, thank you so much for the birthday wishes. We have Paul. Good to see you, Paul. And Rick, thank you so much for the birthday wishes. I really appreciate that. Today I'm going with something with sugar just because I have a little bit of a headache. So we'll see how today goes. Fred says I look a year younger. Oh, that's cool. So that I'll take that any day, especially when I get to this age. Which is classified information, by the way. But yeah, I mean, that's so cool. Thank you so much. Everyone give me the wishes, birthday wishes, Raoul and everybody. I just really appreciate that. So that is just totally fantastic. So there's a little bit of an echo. So I think I know what might be causing that. Let's see. So I do have that off. So how is the sound? Is everyone getting an echo as Blue mentioned before? Now here I have this other camera angle that I'm going to kind of set up here. Let's see. This one over here. So a little bit of an echo, huh? Let's see if I can isolate what's happening. I think I know. So this camera also, no. So that's not causing it. So I'm not sure what exactly is happening. I have my sound off, so that's good. No echo now? Okay, good. So the echo is gone, is that correct? Okay, fantastic. So with this particular camera here, I'm going to turn on this link and see if it, okay, great. So we have this camera coming on here, and you all can hear me with this camera? Oh, it's worse. Yeah, so I got to turn off the, so I'll do that right now. Actually, I'll make it the Yeti. So is that better? So now it should be, okay, cool. So I have that. Okay, great. I do have a third camera angle I'm going to push on you guys here. It's just going to be, I'm just going to add a source here. Going to go to screen devices, video. Let's see what this one does. Okay, cool. So I have this other camera here. So that's just going to add on to even more. And I just want to make sure that we don't have any sound issues with this. Let's see. We're going to go with the Yeti microphone. There we go. And that should be good, right? Everything's good as far as the sound goes. So as you can see, it's time for me to clean my studio a little bit. Getting a little out of hand. So let's see. So I'm just going to put the magnets here. So the sound is good right now. So I actually have one. Let me see the different camera angles so far. We have this one. And let's fix this camera. This is our main camera. We got to have this one set, right? This is the main one. This one has to definitely be working correctly. So we have this one. Hey Brad, how's it going? Good to see you, my friend. Okay, so we got Brad in the house. Let's see if I can put the picture of Jodie here. There we go. We'll put Jodie over here. Over here, Jodie. There you go. Okay, so we have Jodie going on over here. And then let's check the next camera angle. Let's see, that's this one. This is the other camera angle, which I love. Really love this camera angle. As long as I can get it to go. There we go. So the sound is good with this camera angle. And then we have, see if I can put this over here. This camera angle, this one I'll work on a little bit, but this is good because you'll get to see a different angle. But let's see if I can straighten it out. See, I'm always trying to level up here. Even though I don't feel I have too much competition in the live stream world as far as production value, I always want to keep getting better. That's really important, you know? Always want to give you the kind of production that is in normal videos, but in live. Okay, so this particular angle, it's not as loud, and that's interesting. But you still can hear me though, right? Okay, good. So I'm not sure exactly because the microphone is still the same. So I'm not sure what's causing that, but always growing pains when we're trying to level up, right? Hey, what's up, Rognazeg? Good to see you. I'm not sure. I hope you enjoy the live stream. Haven't seen you before. And so let's go ahead. And so what I'm going to do now, I have some sepia in here. So I'm going to go ahead and clean this out. And we're going to put in... Oh, Mas, how you doing? Thank you for the birthday wish. Good to see you. So the other angle, well, those are things that I'm not sure. It's very interesting because but thank you for that. It's all growing pains, Brad. We're going to get that all figured out. No worries. So little by little. So good to see you, Omas. Yeah, you know, when you do different camera angles and everything, you're going to have growing pains, but it's so much better than just having one angle. I think this is really going to level up some of the detail and all of the quality. So it's good to have some of the different angles to see exactly where everything is, like how far I am from the surface, all of that. So as you notice, I'm going to put quite a bit of water through my airbrush, because if I don't, I'm going to have the sepia in there. So it's getting very close to actually having the sepia mixtures for sale. Here's an example of the light mixture and how it looks. So these are going to be up for sale pretty soon, and I believe I'm going to have a video with that. So that's going to be very exciting, very new for the channel, and also doing things I feel that are going to take things up a notch, which is really cool. Oh, Patty says she's still trying to figure out her iPad. No, you're doing really good, Patty, but thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. So we always start with the detail mixture, usually. This way we have a nice setup. So this angle is much louder. Okay. So I would just ask you, like when it does change angles, if you guys could just adjust your volume until I have this set up, you know, that would be great. That would be perfect. Let me get my airbrush glove here. So today I had a bit of a headache. I mean, really banging headache. But I'm doing much better, and we'll see how it goes during this live stream. But the show must go on, right? That's how I feel. So I'm gonna open up my Pure Ref, and I called Jodie. There she is. And so now we have to think of the game plan, right? You always have to think of the game plan. What is the game plan? How are we going to handle this? That sort of thing. And so I guess we can continue working on this area of the hair, right? And so right here we have this angle of the hair. And hey, Chris, thank you very much for the birthday wish, sir. I appreciate that very, very much. And so, yep, this is pretty much here. This angle right here has no sound. So we're doing pretty good. So right now, we're going to come into the hair. And I'm just going to start with this detail mixture. And I'm just going to begin to work on this hair here, and you can see how far I am from the surface, right? And I'll show you here, you know, just how far I am when I'm doing such detail. I'm not too far away because I am doing a detail area, and it's not like we're laying things out where we would be maybe 4 to 6 inches away. So as you can see, the distance is very important, you know. So in this angle, it's great. It's like looking over my shoulder, but you can't really see the depth. And also, Blue asked, what did I do for, it was a very quiet birthday. Nothing really happened. I just painted all day, just trying to get better, working on some new techniques. And it did pay off, so, but it was a very, very quiet birthday. They can't all be amazing, but I get to hang out with you all here today, and that's amazing. So this is like my belated birthday celebration, hanging out with you all, talking about art, hanging out. So this angle has an echo, so this is interesting. So if I do something different with the angles, I don't see any difference unless there's another USB or something that I don't see. So I have USB video. I have this one. What I can do is kill this. So that should right now that echo should be gone. Is that correct? Because you all don't need to see me. Hey, what's up, Nameless? Good to see you. Thank you, Nameless. Oh, I'm so glad you keep going, you know. So that should definitely have gotten rid of the echo. So let me know if the echo is gone. No, still there. Very interesting. So, what if I did this? How about now? Is there an echo? So I did something different here where I kind of echo's gone. Cool. Okay, so I did figure out, so I can bring back the picture of me. And so I did figure out what happened. So now you can see me. Hey, it's Tim. And so the echo is gone. There's this little icon. I'm not sure. Notice I'm working on the big shapes, the big dark shapes first, because we're going to erase out some of the light shapes. So see these two big shapes that I just did? Now I'm going to do these smaller shapes. And no sound on the other views. How about now? Is there sound? Hopefully there'll be sound now. Let's see. This is something I should have done before. Okay, so you guys can hear me now on this here? So now you can hear me. Sound is back. Let's check this angle. So can you hear me on this angle? Cool. So now we have sound on this angle as well. Okay, so we have this angle sound. We have sound here, good quality. And sound here, how about here? And okay, so I'm testing the sound over here. How is it? Okay, so I'm testing the sound over here. How is it? Okay, so we should be in good shape. Okay, so everything looks good now. Sound is okay. So now we're good. All right, so let's get back to Villanelle, this gorgeous lady here. I saw an interview with Jodie Comer, and she is just like amazing. Very humble person in the interview. Very funny. Really cool. So definitely enjoyed her. So that was really good to see. Okay, so we're going to continue on her hair. So thank you so much for your patience. So when you're doing something like hair, it's easy. The cat. Yes. I believe she's always trying to get me. She got me pretty good right there. Let me lighten her a little bit here. There we go. That's much closer to what you're seeing. So thank you, everybody. All right, so everything sounds good, looks good. We're going to continue here. So the lesson here is when you're working with hair, I want you to really concentrate on the big shapes, right? The smaller shapes we can always take care of later, but let's make sure we get those big shapes first. And the big shapes, you start with the darker big shapes and then you go to the lighter big shapes. because we do a lot of reductive detail, a lot of scratching with the smaller shapes, so that's really cool. Actually, that's funny you should say that. I have the most advanced live stream out there, so interesting. That's funny. I appreciate that, Nameless. But I always see my competition always with the one camera, you know? And, but the thing is, just like with my airbrush, Nameless, I push the envelope, you know? I take things so far that there are going to be technical issues, you know? I love the expression is you jump first and then you figure out how to land, right? And that's like my whole thing when it came to teaching airbrush. And now with my classes, Nameless, which is really cool, I can actually have it where my student can see me and then see my work. And now I can see my student and see their work. So not only am I just working where, you know, they can see me, but I can see every little thing that the student is doing, so I can actually help them. So one of the things that I was told, like my online classes, that it's not as good as being there. I have a very, very interesting statement. I would actually say my online classes are better than if you were in my studio. So that's really cool. And so Blue says, have you ever contacted a celebrity whose portrait you've done? I tried, but they're so busy and there's probably so many crazies that, but I did one. So you'll like this story. I did a portrait. I still watch Spanish TV. I speak Spanish. And so I used to watch a lot of Spanish TV, and I used to watch the news. And the news anchor for one of the Spanish television stations, which was right by my house in the 90s, I contacted the station and said, I want to do a portrait of your anchor woman. And I kept calling over and over and over again, calling the receptionist. I flirted with the receptionist, and I would call her and just be tenacious and everything. I'll get back to your statement, Chris, in a moment. But good, interesting statement, Chris. So, and finally, from like calling a lot, Liliana Marin, which was the anchor at the time for Channel 41, said okay, and I came down, gave her the portrait, and we're still friends since. So, and it was really great. I got some really high profile commissions in the Hispanic community. So yeah, it's so cool. You always gotta. Wayne Gretzky said that if you miss 100% of the shots that you don't miss, but if you take a shot, there's still a possibility that you can do it. So thanks, Blue, for that question, because I'm gonna try and contact Jodie with this portrait. So thank you so much for that inspiration. Brad says, now, Master Tim, we are not competitors in this industry. We're all family, just with different perspectives and styles. Yes, we are. The airbrush community is very cool, and you know, people like Chris and Blue and everyone here is just so amazing. But my competitive spirit is what actually wants me to do better, wants me to take things to that next level. So I am a competitor, and in sports, now I do believe in stuff like, you know, good sportsmanship, fair play, supporting one another, all that good stuff. I really, really like that. You know, I always want to help out, but I compete. I'm a very competitive person, but in a good way, because when I see, let's say, an amazing artist like that, Steve Leahy, everybody knows Steve, but when I see the great work he does, that kind of makes me want to do great work. And when I see different methods that he does, it spurs me on to be competitive and to always push myself. So Steve definitely is someone who pushes me to be a better artist. And that is great, and I'm so thankful to him. And I'm thankful to all of you. When I look at all your work, it's all so fantastic. I just think that, the work you do and the energy that you all have in your personal artwork really makes me want to work harder. And that's a good thing. Competition is so cool. Chris, when you do some of those graphic paintings, with the pinstriping and all the different designs, man, that just excites me and just makes me want to make my work tighter. So yeah, the competitiveness in me makes me a better artist and a better teacher. So I love you all, but it's always, you always want to raise the bar, and you all help me to raise the bar. I just want you to know that. And so thank you for that. Omar says, Tim, I do not want to spoil everything, but in only this view, sound is not 100% perfect, like 5% annoying. It's okay for today, but other views are better. So I definitely can work on this. So how about this? Watch this. So now the view should be much better. Is that correct? Also, now this is interesting. There's a 0, 0 in here, and I'm not sure what that is. That's interesting. Inspirational, and yes, but I'm also an athlete. I was an athlete in high school and college and all growing up, so I do have that kind of that competitive spirit too, but the thing is, as long as the byproduct is good, I think that's fantastic. And I hope that you guys have that competitive spirit when you see me do something that you might admire and say, you know what, I want to do that too, and so that I think is better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change to this particular angle, because what I want to do is check this camera. Make sure I have okay, we have that in there. Put this back up. Okay. Hey Tone, good to see you. How are you today? Oh, Blue, I love your stuff. It's really great. You're doing amazing. The work that you're doing and you're growing is really very inspiring. So keep on that. That portrait that you did of, wow, John, thank you so much. I appreciate that. John, all right. John with the super chat. Thank you so much, my friend. I really, really appreciate that. It goes such a long way in keeping the channel going, and I just want to say, John, thank you, and from the bottom of my heart, it means so much to me and so much to the channel. It allows me to grow and keep doing new stuff, and next time maybe get the sound a little better, and and have the different camera angles and really take it to the next level. So thank you so much for your support today, John. I really appreciate it. And so thank you so much. And so as you can see, we are going to continue with the hair. And just, we're just going to take our time. That's the beauty, I want everyone to always remember that you take your time when you paint, Never rush. We rush for other things in life, but for our paintings, we shouldn't rush, right? We should really always try and take our time. I think that is always the best route to go, is to always take our time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change my ISO so you can see I can do some really interesting things here. So when I change my ISO, I can lower my shutter speed, and I can do several different things like that. Brad, thank you so much. Wow, Brad, thank you for the birthday gift. I appreciate that and the support, my friend. Thank you so much. Boy, I got to bring another camera angle more often, right? Maybe you're going to have me have 10 camera angles. Thanks, Brad. I really, really appreciate that. And you guys are just great. It's so exciting. It's so exciting to take this, these live streams. Even today, you know, I had the most banging headache, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to do the live stream. But I didn't want to let you all down, right? I didn't want to let you all down. I wanted to take it to that next level and just let you know that, you know, how much I look forward to these live streams. As much, if not more, than you all do. So that's really great. And I just want to thank you. So how's the sound here? Pretty good? So Blue says, Brad, I agree with you as well. I do appreciate others letting me know if there is something I can improve upon. And Paul says, being new, he's inspired by all the talent in this chat alone is incredible. Me too, definitely. And Tone, it was a very quiet birthday. No one came by or anything, and I guess it's because it's midweek and everything, so it was just, but I had like almost over 200 birthday wishes, and that was so amazing on Facebook. So thank you everybody for wishing me a happy birthday and everything. And True Chris, I just want to say, True Chris, your work is inspiring and everybody's work is inspiring, so you are 100% correct in that. I just want to show you when I work on the hair, just a different angle, just the distance. So I have a 50 millimeter 1.8 lens on here, so that's why you have this beautiful depth of field. But look how close I am. I'm actually about an inch away, which is really great, you know. So Tone, what do you think about that ZV-1? Tone purchased the ZV-1, which is a great vlogging camera. And how are you liking it, my friend? So I am about an inch to a half an inch away, and you can see the really cool detail that I'm able to get from that distance. Now, you don't want to go too close. So this one is a little bit low. Okay, just do me a favor, guys, and just raise your volume up a little bit if you can. That would be great until I figure this out. And then I'm going to a different scene right here, and so here we have this angle, and then you can also see the distance I am. I'm pretty close when it comes to doing these larger areas of the hair, you know. How's the sound on this angle, everybody? Pretty good? So as you can see, once I have something done with this, then I could come in. So right now I'm going to, since I worked on the dark here, I can come in and start working on the lights up here. So I'm going to get an aggressive eraser, and I'm going to do the larger shape. So I'm not going to cut it. So everything's, I'm not going to cut this. I'm just going to leave this as a sharpened regular sharpened aggressive eraser. You can use a regular pencil sharpener. Just make sure the blade inside is metal, right? So I'll show you. See how the blade here is metal? How important that is? So that has to be metal. If it's plastic, it's just not going to work. And so bear with me with the sound issues. I appreciate that. There should be no echoing here at all. But so the cheapest but good vlogging camera right now. Now, Paul, what kind of vlogging do you want to do? Do you want to do like I am doing, live streams and just showing your work, or do you want to go to different locations and talk as you're going to those locations? So as you can see, I'm going to be working on some of the larger shapes with the white. Oh, yeah. So I would say the best one would probably be, what is your price range? So that's the question. So what would be the price range that, and what is your experience level shooting video? So those are two things that I'll ask you, and then we can go from there, because I know quite a bit about this stuff, so I'm glad you're asking me. And as you can see, this is dry in this area, so now I can start coming in and start doing some of those lighter hairs here. And so let's see here. Yes, I should do it in the bathroom this way, but then again it would be rated PG-13 there. So no bathroom, even though that would be interesting. Wow, wouldn't that be cool? So Tim's latest live stream is coming live from the back bathroom in his house. So that would be funny. Blue, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you, Blue. That is so cool. I appreciate that more than you know. And, you know, just from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. What a great support today. It's just so amazing to be on the receiving end of this. It just gives me all this excitement and inspiration to keep going. That is so great. And oh, cool. Yes, can't wait to have that coquito there, Mr. Chris. That stuff is amazing. I had that last year, and that was the best coquito I ever had. Now, coquito is Puerto Rican. It's a Christmas beverage made mostly with coconut, and it's just so good, just so amazing. And so everything is interesting as far as the Paul. Thank you, Paul. I appreciate that so much. You guys and girls are just so amazing tonight. I just can't believe it. Wow. This is definitely making up for my quiet birthday yesterday. So this is definitely, the birthday's turning around already. This is amazing. So you see I have this eraser, and now one of the things I like doing when I'm working, I like perusing the whole area. And then if I see something that needs to be changed, I go ahead and change that right away, right? I don't wait. So I see the light in that. So Paul and Blue, thank you. It is from the bottom of my heart. It's so great to get the support. You all just don't know how amazing it is for me. And so I am actually inspired, Blue and Paul. I'm actually going to try and contact Jodie Comer. It's a long shot, but you know what? If you take a chance, there's a possibility. Also, we're going to work with this over here, which is our Blackbeard wheat. So everyone loves Blackbeard wheat. I do. So let's go to this camera angle. So you see, I put this Blackbeard wheat over here, and then I'm going to spray through, and I'm still in the detail mixture. See that? So I'm so glad I didn't give in to my headache and cancel this live stream. So it's very inspiring. I'm glad I made that decision. So as you can see with the Blackbeard wheat, I'm able to get a lot more organic, beautiful organic shapes of the hair. You're actually spraying through it, not really. It's the shapes through it that you're getting, not the actual shapes of the actual Blackbeard wheat. As you can see. And then I'll come in with some darker shapes. So what I'll do is I'll very quickly load the other, go to this other scene. And let's see, where is, this is my other customized airbrush. It's the Xtreme Patriot 105. And so this is really great. Great compliment to the Xtreme Patriot Arrow. Both customized by myself to get incredible detail that I feel does just as good, if not better, and comfort-wise than the Iwatas. I know it kicks the butt of the HPC, the HPC Plus, the Highline, and is very comparable to the custom microns. And the proof's in the pudding. Everyone who's purchased them, my airbrush for $149 has become their new favorite. So that makes me feel good to create a product that saves people money, as well as just becomes their new favorite airbrush for doing details. So that's great. Yes, Puerto Rican eggnog. That is a great way to put it. Oops, excuse me. I burped. I don't know if you heard that, but my apologies. I usually don't burp online. Oh my God. Do apologize. Straight north, yes. So Wisconsin is straight south from Manitoba, where Mr. Brad is from. All good in the hood. I say that all the time, Paul. That's one of my sayings. It's all good in the hood. I love that saying, so that's funny. John Diekman says he's going to move to the Arctic. At least it's warmer. You guys have harsh winters there in Wisconsin, my friend. My neighbors downstairs, their daughter moved to Wisconsin, and yeah, they talk about how cold it's there. It's really scary. So I have the medium mixture in here, and you can see, let me see if this angle is good. So I'm going to use the medium mixture just to get a little bit more of a pronounced view. And I'm going to try something to get rid of the echo. And let me see if we can do it. It could be that the camera is a little further away. So if I go to this scene here, I'm going to bring back this one. And let's see, I have USB. I don't have any other devices. But what I'm going to do in this one is I am going to kill the mic, and then on this one I'm going to put in the mic. And how does that sound? So I did a little change. Let me know if the sound quality is a little bit better. I'm gonna check real quick over here. One moment. Whoa, one moment, be right back. So I just checked the sound, and I think I got rid of the echoing on this camera. Is that correct? So I did a little switcheroo. So the main camera, which is my DSLR, I kind of killed the sound on that and put the sound on my smaller camera over here. So, oh great, sound is great. Now let's go ahead and check the other cameras, and you guys can help me out. How's the sound here? Let's move my camera. There we go. How's the sound here? Sound is good. I'll be anxiously awaiting how the sound is here. And so Paul, the sound was good on the other one. Let's check this one here. How's the sound? Good. Okay, so 2 for 2. And the sound quality here. How's the sound quality here? This is the third camera. Wow, so Paul is saying good here. So we have a good sound check here. And so what I can do is keep this angle. And so I can actually, so this is good. So I'm going to show you some of the things I can do here. I can actually crop this out, right? And get rid of the superfluous detail. So let's say if I did it here too, get rid of some superfluous detail. And then in the right here. And then on the top, I can move some of this over. So now you don't have all that extra detail, which is really cool. And I can just move this over just a hair. So now I can make this bigger and you have a much better view. How's that? So that's even better, I think, you know. So thanks everyone for having patience with me here. And now I'm gonna change the color so it's closer to what you see, and it's a little blue. So I'm just gonna get rid of that blue a little bit here. There you go. So that looks much better. And then make it a little brighter. Okay, so that looks not too bad. Getting rid of some of the blue. And I hope that really helps just to raise the level. And you can see this is the detail mix. I'm going to come in with the medium mixture right here. And we're just going to work on getting some of those organic shapes. So thanks for having patience with me, everybody. But I'm doing this because I want to raise the quality of the live stream. I want it to be something where other live streamers going to be like, man, I got to get on the ball. I want to raise the bar, not just for me, for everyone. And then who really benefits is you all, because you have these live streamers where they're like, oh man, I better make it better. Look what Tim's doing. So it makes everything much better all around, you know? Sound is good all the way around, yes! So I better take notes, actually, what's happening like I do with my artwork. So here I have the medium mixture in there, so I'm going to assimilate the background a little more into her hair. And just make things a little more palatable. And you see we have some negative shapes here that will help develop the portrait. There we go. And so let's go back to our reductive detail with the aggressive eraser. There we go. Patty, have a great night. Thank you so much for hanging out, and I hope you don't work too hard. You guys so far have gotten rid of my headache. That's amazing. You're all like magic. Hey, what's up there, Mr. Kennedy? How you doing? Good to see ya. Be careful driving. Are you actually on the road there, Mr. Kennedy? See, we have this little hair coming out. That's so important to really help give that feeling of her expression, you know. It's very important. So good to see you, Bill. And okay, so we're going to come in. Remember, the space a lot of times is just as important as the shape, right? So you want the shape of the hair, but you want to make sure you get the space correct. Just like so. And you see how we fill that in? She starts filling in. Oh, so I hope you get some rest, my friend. I should take my own advice, of course, you know. But yeah, we definitely have to. We're getting older, so we have to conserve our energy, Bill. And I'm finding that so important. Tomorrow's another day, right? We have to make sure we do that. We take care of ourselves. So John says he wish he had a sawmill of his own. He would spend a lot more time in the wood shop. Yeah, Brad's a great woodworker, and you too. You do woodworking as well, Mr. John Diekman. There we go. So now, see how much wider the hair comes down here. So these are things. That's why I say you don't look for the likeness in the beginning. You kind of work towards the likeness, right? Because all these things you're not going to see until things are really developed further along. Never painted so much. 12-hour days, 7 days a week. But you know what about that? Is that you're getting so much better. That is the edge that you will have. And your work will grow leaps and bounds by working so much, Mr. Kennedy. So I remember the sawmill that I seen on Little House on the Prairie. So those are big, right? Aren't they huge sawmills? That's like a barn or something. Believe me, and forgive me, I'm a city slicker for my ignorance, but it must be like a whole barn to have your own sawmill. Is that correct? Cabinets, frames, trinkets, CNC work. Oh, wow, so you have a CNC machine. I'd love to hear more about that, John, one day. One day we got to meet up on Skype or something and talk about that. That would be great. And so Brad had horses to haul the logs. Wow, just like Little House on the Prairie. You know, Mr. Ingalls, Charles actually worked in one, which was wild. And so Nameless, I'm gonna do. You know what? Nameless said this joke, and it's really funny because of the echoing. It sounded like it was in a bathroom. One day I'm gonna do a live stream from my bathroom. Wouldn't that be funny? Wouldn't that be the first, right? The first airbrush live stream done from the bathroom. That's kind of the funny humor that I'd love to do. Just something bizarre like that, you know? So that's going to be funny. And let's get a different angle of me here. So we're just going to continue. Now let's ramp things up a little bit, but let's work on her eyebrows. So that's a good lesson. I think you'll all enjoy that. So let's go back to this angle. And we're going to zoom in and we're going to work on Jodie's beautiful eyebrows. So we're going to start on the eyebrow on the left, and I'm going to come over with my Pure Ref, and we're going to take a look at this. So how is Tim going to handle this? Dun dun dun. We don't know, but we're going to find out. And so CNC machines are just amazing. The airbrush implications is really exciting, what we can do with the airbrush with CNC machines. I'm really excited about that. But alas, I cannot afford one at this time, but definitely in the future. So what I'm going to do is, this is a job for the paintbrush, dun dun dun. And I am going to find a little cup. I don't know if I have a cup in my drawer. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But this is a sometimes I don't time. And so some of your CNC is on your Instagram account. Looking forward to that. Wow. So I'm going to get a cup. So here's my cup. Ba-dun, dun, dun, dun. So we have the cup. I'm going to put some medium mixture in here because I'm just going to be daring. Now remember, when we do stuff like using the paintbrush, I always tell my students is that we do the dry brush technique. So if we're looking at it at this angle here, so you'll see that I have the ink in here, and then I go ahead and and then I just get rid of any excess moisture like this. Let's see. Any excess moisture, I just get rid of it like this, so I have a dry brush. Any of you have any, experience in, regular painting in watercolors, you'll know what the dry brush technique is about. So I'm just going to do some individual hairs. So you see that? And remember, the space is often more important than the shape. So, and then this is definitely glasses material, And so it's so cool. We're learning about CNC machines and scroll saws and everything like that. And that's cool. Now we might see that we might be a little wet here, so we can always dry a little bit by just painting a little bit on. So right here, just bring this down. The space is often more important than the shape you're putting. So let's make sure that happens. So this is going all the way down. So you see how we have the space of the individual eyebrow hairs? Now, one of the important things when you're doing stuff like eyebrow hairs is you want to make sure that you get the direction of the hairs, because not only is it going to tell you the nature of the eyebrow, but also the shape of her skull underneath, because the eyebrows follow the anatomy, right? So you have different things. You want to do the negative shape. You also want to make sure that you get the direction of the hairs. So important. And so I'm glad I'm able to show you all this, which is really cool. And so remember, these hairs actually continue all the way to the end. So we're just going to continue that. Look how beautiful her eyebrows are. Okay, so now we have eyebrow number 1 done, but as we are working, we can come back with our detail mixture and we can shape the anatomy here a little bit better. There we go. And shape this. And then come back. But you can see how cool that looks. And we're going to move on over. There we go. So now eyebrow number 2. Dun dun dun. Let's go. So again, we're going to go back to this angle here. And as you can see, I'm just coming over here, doing the dry brush technique. And now we're going to work on this eyebrow. So we had someone last week come in and say, the eyebrows, the eyebrows. I love when people do that in live streams. Like it's really important to them to point out any kind of mistakes that, we live streamers might be doing. But, I always say, don't eat your cookie before you finished, cooking it. So it's really hard and kind of unfair to tell a live streamer, oh, you should fix this or you should fix that, especially, someone, who's doing things, that is really a pragmatic approach, like, Mr. Leahy or something like that, you know, to go ahead and say, "Oh, you did it wrong, Mr. Leahy," or something. I think that's unfair. So, you know, but trust the process, right? You know that someone like Drew Blair is going to get to it when, you know, when it's time. It's a very pragmatic approach, so it's very important. 8 more paintings to do before Christmas. Oh my goodness. Mr. Mike, how are you? Mike DeLoach is in the house. Paul, Bill, start a new pot of coffee. You know, I had a cup of coffee. Remember I told you about my headache? It was really banging around 5 o'clock. And, but, so I want you to see how just look at the eyebrows now. See that? Now is when someone can go ahead and say the eyebrows, because now I'm working on it. But as you can see, it really does bring out her likeness. So I'm not worried about a likeness until way in the end. Where we are now, we're so far ahead, you know. And Mike says he's on vacation this week, so I can actually stay on the channel. Yes, so that is amazing. Glad to have you, my friend. So I'm so glad you're here. That is great. And again, so you can see what I do is I just sort of, you know, get rid of most of the moisture. So I'm not working with all that moisture when I'm actually painting the tight details. So, you know, all these different things that I do, I really do it for you guys and girls. You know, all the different technique, and I'm never just satisfied with just saying, okay, I have a live stream. I want to take it to that next level because I want to give you all next level experience in the live stream. So my goal has always been to make a live stream as good as a recorded video. So that's my main goal. And so you can see I'm just coming in here, making sure I don't get too dark or too light. And then I could come over here, this little crease right here. Just like so. She has a lot of little creases in her eyes. Cute. There we go. And so while we're here, let's just go ahead and put in some of these little eyelashes here. And then we can do the outer edge of her, what is that called? Her iris. There we go. Nice little detail. See how detail happens when it's ready to happen. We can't force it. We have to wait for it. And you know what, as you're going, you know, whether you're doing a portrait or a figure painting that you have 1 day to give yourself or 2 days, you know, as you go through the process, you'll know when it's time. And right now, it's definitely time for her eyelashes, but it wasn't time before. So Mike says, Blue, it's the grab them while they're still 400 degrees. That's the problem. Paul says, Tim, I got a printer today, so on the next project I'm going to paint right along with you. Oh, that would be fantastic, Paul. Anything I can do to help you in that process, you let me know. Anything you need, Paul, okay? I want that to be, I'm going to send you the file. I'm going to send you a linear drawing file so you can just print that out and follow along. How does that sound? And anyone else who wants that, you let me know. Again, you see how now's the time to come in with that tighter detail. And we're going to have fun with those eyelashes too. But if I did it prematurely, it really would not be in our best interest and not in the best interest of Jodie's likeness either. So again, you know, from this angle, you can see we just come over here and we get some of the ink, but we definitely want to use the dry brush technique. Dry brush technique is great for watercolor. A lot of people do it when they're doing gouache and something. Hey there, Mr. Todd, good to see you. Todd's in the house. That is so great. And so you see, now we can actually go in and work on detail once we've loaded that brush correctly with the dry brush technique. See that? And here it's much darker too. That might be too thick, but that's always fixable, or adjustable I should say, because you don't have to fix it, you just have to adjust it, right? That's all. So Jodie's coming out pretty good. I have to say I'm happy with the progress, but I might not be happy with the speed, but you're not always happy with the speed. Every painting is its own entity, so you don't want to rush it. Trust me on that. So if it takes longer, then you give it longer, And Mike says, honest question, since I can often stay up this late, can't often stay up, do you apply texture to the skin or just use the texture of the paper to create it? Very good question. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and answer that question because it's a very good question and one that a lot of people often ask. I'm not, if you want to use skin texture, that's all good, whatever gets you where you want to be. So right now, but I like using pumping the trigger. So right now I want to get skin texture. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase my distance, I'm going to lower my air pressure, and I'm going to pump that trigger. And what I'm going to do, you'll see that I'll start getting some skin texture by pumping this trigger back and forth and going a little further, even lowering my air pressure even more. And you can see by doing that, I'm creating tone, but there's spaces in between that tone. And spaces in between that tone is going to create skin texture, but it doesn't stop there. So let's say if I'm coming down further, like let's say over here, and I want to continue with that skin texture, what I'm going to do is lower my air pressure and increase my distance, and then I have a further away. So what I'm doing is I'm creating skin texture by not thinking about skin texture, thinking about the little micro adjustments of light and dark in here, right? Little tiny micro adjustments. And it's all about pumping that trigger. So little by little, she's starting to get skin texture. And that is so important. So I'll get right to your question, Nameless. Great question as well. So let's say I'm doing this, right? I'm going to give this little time to dry. I'm going to put some air on that. So now I can take an aggressive eraser and just take this to that next step, right? So I can go ahead while paying attention to my reference, right? You don't want to just do this. I would never say, this is what you do to get skin texture. But what I'm saying is that you want to pay attention to the little lights and darks inside the lights and darks, and then you'll end up with skin texture. It's all about really heightening your powers of observation. So as you can see, now I can create skin texture. And by doing that and working back and forth, now I'm not going to try and get the skin texture right away. That's something that's I'm going to have to work at it and be tenacious. Work back and forth like I always say. Come in here, work on some of the light area. After I work on the light area, I might come in and work on some of the dark area. But it's that back and forth, that tenacity where I'm not going to give up until I get it sort of thing. So even like if, so right now the bottom part is more dry. Now I could, because you never want to erase on wet paper. So little tiny circular motions, but not just putting in there arbitrarily, but really looking. So I remember when I was in National Academy studying with, I feel, the greatest pastel painter that ever lived, Harvey Dinnerstein. And I would tell him, you know, Harvey, I went to the Met and I was looking at the works of Jean-Auguste Dominique Ingres or William Adolphe Bouguereau, and their work was, I was seeing all of these little transitions of gray in the paintings, just as an example. And I would say, Harvey, I don't see that when I'm painting the model. And he says, just continue looking for it and it will happen. And I was like, oh, great, what a cop-out answer to that was. That was my young man thinking. And then I kept looking, and then all of a sudden, everything that he was talking about sort of revealed itself. And that was so exciting. So the same thing is, keep looking for it, and you'll find that skin texture. Try not, well, thank you, Colette. Try not to, and yes, layers is important. Try not to get it right away, but keep searching for it. I guarantee, Mike, it's going to start coming up. So Mr. Nameless Subscriber says, what is dry brush? Okay, great question. So wet brush would just be, you know, loading the brush and just going right in. So you see how wet that is? That's just with total moisture. Dry brush is when you get rid of most of the moisture that's in the brush, and I'll show you the difference once we do that. Look at this application, how much more control I have, because much of the moisture is out of there and it's not so dark. So dry brush, very important. Hey Camila, how you doing? Ooh, sorry about that. Good thing I didn't sneeze on Jodie. And Mike says, I see how you're achieving it through pressure. I've been trying to do it through a gauze or dryer sheet, like a stencil, but I wasn't reducing. Yes, reduce the pressure, increase your distance a little bit, introduce the erasing, but don't erase until it's dry, because if you erase on a wet surface, it's going to really make you pay. So that's going to be bad. You know, you're going to have a hard time. It's going to kill your surface. I mean, there are so many advantages to working with paper, but there are disadvantages as well. It's a lot more, how do I say, it's a lot more delicate. And as you can see, we can work on that. I don't like that one so much. Maybe it was a little wet, but I can come back here. And remember, you want to make sure that you don't do equidistant and going in the same direction. So it's very important that you get the angles right, and also try and keep things from being equidistant. Same thing over here. Now we can also, when you're more advanced, you can go ahead and work on doing the eyebrows with the airbrush. I gotta raise the air pressure. So the eyelashes. So let's give it a shot and see how this goes. So you see, we can do little eyelashes. Now this is with the detail mixture. It's going to be harder for it to show up. Let's try it with the medium mixture. So one of the things I like doing is that these live streams are totally live. So I'm doing this right before you, for better or for worse, right? So as you can see, as you get more advanced, you can achieve the eyelashes by using the airbrush, but don't pressure yourself to. You can always do it with the paintbrush, right? Don't pressure yourself. There's no points for doing it. It's just preference at this point. but just showing you that you can go ahead and use the medium mixture. You can use the airbrush or you can use the paintbrush. So you see I'm going to do those little creases in her eye here. So you can do that both ways, depending on, you know, what your confidence level is. And then we have, see how we can really get in there. And you want to always look for a second, then paint for a second. See how we can do those real light ones here. Rona sneeze, Mike says. Well, the only virus you can possibly get from me in my live stream is a computer virus. But hopefully I won't even give you a computer virus. Thank you, Blue. Thank you, Tone, for the, and Paul and Colette for the God bless you, and also saying hit that like button. And thank you, Brad, for saying that's cool. And so as you see, we can definitely, with the detail mixture, do a lot of really cool stuff. And we also want to give this three-dimensional feeling here, right? It's not just an eye, but it's an eye socket, and there's a lot going on. A lot of anatomy happening here. But as you can see, Custom Micron has nothing on this airbrush. And if you purchase the airbrush from me, you always get me to test it for at least 3 hours. And not just doing little squiggly lines like certain airbrush companies do. I actually test it. So if it's not good enough for me, it's not going to go to you. So that's so important. So I have the detail mixture here, and while I'm here, let's go ahead and work on her weapon. See how I can get that hard edge? I'm going to come in with the medium mixture. Dun, dun, dun. And we are going to, let's see here. So it's been a quiet day, not many people, because I didn't really advertise. I was having a headache, so I was like, I didn't go ahead and advertise it into the different different groups. But I'm glad who's here is here, who's meant to be here. See how I can get that edge, everybody? See how I could work that out with the with this paper here? This is the one time where you're going to go parallel. I know you hear me say perpendicular, not parallel. This is the exception of the rule. So you see how we're darkening that? So now we're sort of getting into that area of really darkening this edge. When you're doing a straight line, I don't want you to feel like you have to do a straight line straight, you know, like ole, one straight line. Nobody does that. What you need to do is little tiny dagger strokes. See how I do little dagger strokes that connect? That's what you want to do. Little dagger strokes that connect. That's how you're going to handle this, and that's how it's going to come together. A lot of times, as when we're learning something, especially when we're seeing a lot of airbrush artists, they've been doing it for 20 years. I haven't been doing this for 20 years, but I have been painting for over 30 years. And yes, so I know how to manipulate tone and value and all of that. But, you know, always make sure that you aren't making things harder. And that's why it's great to take a class like mine or somebody else's because then you can kind of decode what some of the professionals are doing, and they have an advantage over you because you're thinking that it's much harder than it is, but it isn't. They just know how to make it easier, which is so important, you know. And let's see what we have. And Blue says, if a person purchased a commission and an airbrush from you, would you use that airbrush to do that? If a person, yeah, definitely. If they would do that, definitely. So I could do a little video for them, and that would be cool. So they can see their airbrush in action and the work. And also, it's good karma, right? To have that airbrush do a commission. So I would definitely do that. Haven't done it in the past because I only, use the airbrush to test it, but I wouldn't, put that many miles on it unless they really requested it. So that's cool. So Mike says, so he says he forgets the sauce, but it's not him saying. Okay, I'm not sure. It's got the Rona sneeze, is that it? Mike says perfection is a lot of tiny dots coming together. Yes, and the dots don't always connect right away, but they will. What I mean also is that, a lot of my students, they have great work ethic. And I always tell them, your work ethic is going to come together. It's really going to be something amazing. You just got to let it come together, okay? And that's what I try and let them know. It will come together. So Mr. Fonson Porter is making a appearance here. So let's see how this goes. So we have the reflected light of her teeth here. See that? And we don't want to make this too dark. There we go. And now our job is to really start putting in some of the detail here. And you see as we're further away. So, this is something that we're going to work on. But we are also going to work on that cast shadow of that particular item to her upper lip here. So it's a good time. So this is very light and also very tiny. So this is why I would definitely work with the detail mixture here. Perpendicular and not parallel is an effect here. So you see how we are working on this cast shadow. See, that cast shadow is so important. And then we're going to look at these other shapes here. So you really can't be looking for likeness until you get to a point like this, where the likeness starts revealing itself when elements start to appear that can only be there when several elements come together. So you see that, and now we can come back with our Fonson Porter here, and we can start working on some of this little detail, which all is so crucial, right? So I'm just going to pull this up. So a lot of times the shape of something is not apparent until the adjacent shape is developed. So with this particular letter opener or hat pin, I'm not sure what it is, but it only can reveal itself when we have the adjacent shape painted. So you see, now it's kind of revealing itself, not quite there yet. We're just going to make sure it's straight. Comes out straight like that. So now what we can do is work on that adjacent shape, because like I said, the shape is only going to reveal itself when the adjacent shape is totally developed. So we're going to come in with the detail mixture here. Perpendicular and not parallel. And when it gets lighter, I increase my distance. So you see how that is actually revealing itself much better when I'm actually painting in the adjacent shape, as opposed to just worrying about the shape itself to reveal itself. And of course, pumping that trigger. See that? So all those different elements coming together is really important. And then we can start with the Fondant Porter. Since we are here, I like moving around, as you know. Just bring this all the way in, like this. And mistakes happen. We can always get rid of them, no problem. And now we can actually work with our paintbrush, and we could work on the negative shape in her mouth, which will help develop the tongue right here. And you see how this all comes together. And, you know, the likeness would not be there until everything fell together, right? I wouldn't try and paint that tongue right now. That would be way premature. So I have to wait for that to happen. So, yeah, it doesn't look like her. That's okay. Just stick with the program, okay? That's all I want you to do, is trust the process. And remember, even though you have this light, this value, if you put less pressure, you're actually going to have a lighter application. So you can see, we can start coming in with this cast shadow. And while we're here, let's work on this tongue here, this side of her tongue. She only has one tongue. Thank goodness, right? That would be really bizarre. Go, maybe thin up her nostrils a little bit. There we go. And let's see. So there we go, you know, she's coming together slowly, slowly, slowly. And so let's shape that corner right here. So you see how it tapers a little bit more than what I have it. So again, I'm going to get this little dry brush here. And it's a little fatter here at the end here. And it kind of tapers off probably right about here. And there we go. Give it a little more of a powerful shape. And then this comes out. And 1 second rule is always in effect. Full effect. There we go. And we're starting to get that shape. Not perfect yet, but you know, it's a work in progress, right? And that's totally the case when it comes to painting. And it's totally a work in progress, you know? And so Brad says, Tim, the process works. At least it has for him. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. And thank you, John. Yes, the process of just, you know, staying tenacious, staying aware, not worrying. Don't get emotional if it doesn't look like her or whatever you're painting a pear. Just just keep the process going and, just keep our wits about ourselves. So important. So there's tiny little details here. Like I said, I'm not worried about finishing it. I'm just worrying about showing you the process. It's so much more important than me speeding through this. So I'm just going to come in here and do this part of that weapon she has here. And let's see, Nameless says, Tim, every project he does starts off motivating. At the end, it feels like he doesn't want to keep at it forever, but there is this middle hump that makes him lose interest in most projects. So, great question. So, and thank you for your honesty with that question, because it's going to help you and help me. So, the main thing is when we're working is we want to make sure that we have a mission. So what is your mission when you're starting the painting? So my mission is that I love this actress, I love the work she's doing, and I love the fact that Jodie makes me like a character who is despicable, in a sense like most people would not like a contract killer, right? But her acting is so great that she makes you, have sympathy for, someone like that. And that really comes through in her acting ability and how she can portray this character in such a different way. So, with that being said, I wanted to portray that. I wanted to portray a sort of beautiful deadliness. Someone who is really charming but really dangerous, someone who is alluring but could really hurt you. And so that's one of the things I really wanted to express in this. So that was my goal, is to get that beauty and danger together. So that keeps me going. And also, here's another thing. Every painting you have is going to have a little thing that's going to be bothering you. It could be the paper, you had a problem with the paper, or maybe you're doing a foot and the toenails just aren't lining up, and the last painting, it just gave you so much hard work because you didn't compensate for that. So the next painting I do, it usually is something that's my goal, is to fix a wrong from the approach of the last painting. So if you make those different things, those different elements, make it like a mission, then it becomes something that when you're getting in the mid area, you're not like getting bored, like, same old, same old. You have a mission. And also write down, I want you to go ahead and take notes when you're painting. Now, why? Because when you do come across problems, and you will with every painting, at least now you'll have that information. So when you start your next painting, you could look at your notes and say, I did have this problem. Maybe this painting I could work on it, right? Maybe this painting I could try and fix that wrong that I did, right? So this is something that I think will make the process more interesting, and you won't run out of gas midstream. And that's what we really want to worry about, not running out of gas midstream. So try those different things, and I think you'll run out of gas far less. Plus, I want you to be all in. I don't want you to have other projects going if you can help it. So what I mean is, let's say I'm working on this and all of a sudden I see a really cool picture and I'm going to go ahead and work on that. If I can help it, if it's not a commission or doing something that I need to support myself, I won't start a new project. That's why I don't have different live streams going, although it would be more interesting for you to perhaps see different live streams, but I'm sort of all in. I'm working on making this painting, for better or for worse. I'm going to stick with this painting, so I'm not getting interested in something shinier. And there's always going to be something shinier when you're working, right? So do those two different things. Try not to think of other projects. Be all in and think about how you can take it to the next level, right? Those two different things are really going to help. And let's see. Paul says he has a new HBCS brand new Air Cobra for sale. $225 per bowl. Sorry, Tim. Wife says I can't buy the Arrow till I sell these. Okay, great. I promise that you're going to have a better time. Now, the HBCS is a good airbrush, but I promise you'll have a better time with my Xtreme Patriot. You're going to get much more detail out of it. So you're going to be very happy, and the parts are much cheaper. So that would be great. So let me know. I'll throw in some free ink if you do eventually get my airbrush, Paul. So this way you'll have some ink and some other goodies I'll include as always. Yeah, I have confidence when you sell your eye water and get my airbrush that you're going to be very happy about that. I have 100% confidence. So you see how things are going to start looking more like her, because now I'm starting to see all this like little detail, and one shape kind of leads to the other shape. It's so cool when it happens, you know, that the likeness of her really starts. Like I always say, she's going to reveal herself. You just got to let it happen in her time, not in ours. And there's always things that, you know, you get overzealous like I just did, and it's so easy to fix. And you can just tap that, and then if you just need to, come in with the detail mixture and just darken that. Clean that back. Okay, so you see how she's coming together little by little, working together. See if I missed anything. Sure, any idea what you would call this, and any advice on how to deal with it? Oh yeah, so I answered that. And let's see, nameless subscriber says, but getting there feels like it's a chore at times. Work is work, right? Art is definitely work. It's fun work, but it definitely is work. So, you know, we just have to make sure that, you know, if you want to get to that next level, you definitely have to push yourself. And I love the saying that inspiration is often is disguised in overalls, right? I think Mr. Edison said that. But I think it's true, you know, you have to get through sometimes, like you say, it is like a chore, but any good work is like that. And when you get to that next level, and you are getting to that next level, you're not going to have that, you know, this is my hobby kind of feeling. You're pushing it to the next level. You're going to have that continuity of work, and that's going to be a part of it. And there's nothing you can do, but it's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. So I'm going to take this, and I'm going to start putting in these little dots here. Right in here. So we're continually working on her weapon here. And there's a lot of detail here. And we have to make sure that we are tenacious with this. Tenacity. Tenacity is going to get us from A to B, nothing else. You know, like you said, Nameless, when you have those sort of dog days where you're like, I just don't feel like airbrushing today. I just want to do something else. Maybe I just want to go ahead and paint in pastel, or do something like that. But, you know, that's when the rubber meets the road. That's where you really get to that next level, when you're pushing through that. And you have to push through that. I mean, because that's, like I said in the beginning, you know, it's a very friendly competition, but it is competition. And you know what I say? When other people are relaxing, I'm working. And when they're taking it easy, I'm working. So I want it to be when someone's taking a class from me, they're going to be working with somebody who is constantly growing as an artist. And so if you stay with me, you're always going to have something to learn, as opposed to me just painting when I feel like it, or learning new techniques when I feel like it. Brad's been with me 2 years this month. In January, it's going to be 2 years he's with me. And he can tell you how the technique has changed over the 2 years. And he's been right with me. He's been following me. And, you know, we did a lot of different techniques together. Right, Brad? You definitely can attest to that. And Nameless says, but getting there feels like a chore. And Nameless says, tell your wife she doesn't support your hobbies. Guilt her into getting the arrow. No, he just has to. So he just has to sell his Iwata to get the arrow. That's not a bad deal. So I understand where she's coming from. And Mike says, you'll never know more contentment than when a hobby becomes a passion. Nor will you ever know more frustration than when a passion becomes an obsession. So true, yes. And the more you love, the more it could break your heart, right? So in a relationship, the more you love, the more power that person you love has. And I really feel the same way. Is the more you love airbrushing, the more, or art, or any technique, the more it could break your heart when things aren't going all that well. But, you know, we have to stick our necks out there, don't we? And so we're just going to go ahead and just work on some of this design here. So you really don't have to do that much. You just have to indicate some design here. So you see how this comes down, comes up, like here. You don't have to get like super ornate. You can just look at some of the ornate qualities here. Just this comes up like this. And then we have this little highlight right there. And you can see how it's like really looking like I'm doing a lot of detail, but in reality I'm not. It's just little tiny little things. And Brad says, I would have gladly traded an airbrush for my second wife. Oh my goodness. Brad says, I can't believe the level of his skill has increased through my guidance. I appreciate that. He's taken in places I wouldn't have thought possible. Wow, it isn't over yet, Brad. We got far to go. So thank you for that vote of confidence there. Yes, I mean, our technique together, he's grown with me as my technique. And I did the same thing when I was working in airbrush. A lot of people who were following me, they kept saying, Tim, you keep changing your technique. And I'm like, not changing, growing and reacting to different aspects and all of that. So look at how we can really make this start to look really cool. And it's not as straight as I would like. So I'll just come in here. Let's try and make it as straight as possible. And then I'm just going to use my eraser maybe and see if I could make this a little straighter. I'll keep working until I get it. You know, that's the thing. I don't have to say, oh my God, it's not straight just yet. We can get there, so we don't have to worry. Perpendicular and not parallel. And I can see this is the culprit right here. There we go. So it's looking much straighter. And as we develop all the different areas around, they'll start coming together. So not bad. I have to say I'm happy with it. Not 100%, but who is ever 100%, right? If we're 100% happy with something, then we know we're not looking at it correctly. And if we zoom out, we can see that it's starting to come together. Let me just focus this. So now you can see how it's looking much better. And then right here, of course, we have another area that I think can be straighter. So let's come here. There we go, that's looking better. And then right here, we can straighten it out a little bit. Just make it taper a little bit more, right? I think that's important. There you go, making it taper a little bit more. So as you can see, the side view looks really nice, right? I like the side view. It's like we have to look at our work from different angles to really appreciate it, which is great. And Nameless, so Paul has 2 Pachets and 3 Creoles. Very cool. And so that's neat. Brad says, I'll trade 2 ex-wives for an Xtreme Patriot arrow and a gently used Vega 1000. Yeah, so I'm going to give a little plug to Badger. Badger has a good sale going on right now. So my friends at Badger, you know, I always love helping them out. They help us out. They're friends of the channel. So this right here is the Badger 1000, the Vega 1000, which is actually a Thayer and Chandler, which is owned by Badger. So why do I like this airbrush and when do I use it? I get the Omni conversion kit here, which changes this airbrush to a... Let me change my color here. My hands seem like super red. Okay. I have red hands, but not to that point, right? Okay, so here's the Vega 1000. And I converted this with the Omni conversion kit. So you see it has the needle comes out. So if the needle's not coming out far from your airbrush, it's not as good as it could be. So you see how this needle comes out here. What makes this airbrush really great is that it has just one straight opening here from beginning to end until it gets here. There's less problems that can be happening. There's no needle packing or anything. Less problems that can actually happen in this airbrush. So that means it's not going to give you any issues. You can always clean it and bring it right back to where it is. Now, since I put this Omni attachment here, changed the needle and nozzle combination, I'm able to get detail far better than the way the Vega 1000 comes out of the store. But with this, I can do much better detail. Nothing like my Xtreme Patriot arrow. However, what this is great for is that when you're doing the white mixture in the beginning, this is perfect. It's never going to clog for you. You're not putting the white through your Xtreme Patriot arrow, which you can do this because my white mixture is actually very thin. It's 1-to-1 of Drew Blair's 50-50 white and also with just straight water. So very cool. So when I'm going ahead and doing my white mixture in the beginning, not only am I having a beautiful even tone, but it's not spitting, it's not giving me any problems. It cleans easily. It has a 0.3 nozzle, but see that needle comes out when you make that customization. So if you're interested, I can tell you how to make that customization for the Vega 1000. But yeah, great sale on this going on during the holidays. Definitely recommend you getting my Xtreme Patriot arrow, but to complement the customized Xtreme Patriot arrow, this is a great complement to put on your Christmas list. And you can get that at usaairbrushsupply.com. And when you do, remember Timothy PSA, TIMOTHY PSA gives you 15% off. So that is cool. So back to our regularly scheduled program, but I just wanted to give that shameless plug to my friends over there at Badger. And let's see what I missed. Spend your money and on your hobby, not, so that's interesting. That's a controversial statement. And I just want to say, you always gotta treat your wife. I'm a romantic, so when I was married, I always spoiled my wife and put her first. But I can understand your point of view, Nameless, too. But for me, I'm not married now, so, but I know if I was married, I would love my wife so much that she would want to give me an airbrush. And also compromise. So I see Paul's wife's point of view, right? You want an Xtreme Patriot arrow, so sell one of them, and that makes sense. So, there's always that compromise. Being single now, I don't have to compromise as much. Right? But still, from the other side of the fence, not having a wife, I would not trade. The compromise is okay for the love that you get and someone taking care of you. So yeah, different sides of the coin. I see your point of view, definitely, Nameless, but it's, from my standpoint, I was married. I like being married. I'm not married now. Hope to be, but you never know what life has for you. It's interesting, It's all, where we are in life. Maybe, after divorce, I might have been a little more upset about marriage and kind of negative about it. But I think now the negativity feeling has gone away, and so definitely. What's good? I like, I would probably, what I used to do is I would make a little extra money if I needed an airbrush or something like that, but I also would spoil her too, So spoil her, spoil you. You definitely have to feed yourself. I'm going to get all psychologists now, but one time I was in therapy, and my psychologist said to me, Tim, and this is great advice, you always make cookies so perfect for everyone in your life. You make sure that it has just the amount of raisins. If they like it a little gooey, you make it that way. Some might like it a little more harder, you do that. But that's all well and good, but you also have to make the cookies that you like as well, because we can't wait for someone to make those cookies just the way we like. It's too much pressure. The one thing I did realize is that, maybe I'm too old for, all of that. I don't know. I hope not. I hope we all have chances at, love and happiness and all that, without getting all disgustingly sentimental right now. But we do have to make sure that we're responsible for making us happy, right? So you have a good point, Nameless, is that, we have to say, what, I'm going to do this or do that. I'm going to go to the museum by myself. No one's invited, because you need that time for yourself. You need to, You need to take care of yourself and make those cookies exactly the way you want. Now, diplomacy is everything, right? So we don't go to our wives or our husbands and say, I'm getting this airbrush because, and then you're going to get in big trouble because it's all in a delivery. But if we spoil our wives or our husbands or our significant others and treat them with such love and everything, they'll probably get our airbrush before we even want to get it. And if not, then we get it ourselves. But our happiness is not, it's not anyone else's. So it's not anyone else's job. I always thought that, before I was married, that, the right person is just going to make me happy. And that was the wrong thing. I think that was too much pressure on someone for them to make me happy. Because that's only a job that God and us can do. And we can't put that on anyone. I know, it's supposed to be an art thing. So John Dickman, have a great night. I hope my sideline psychoanalysis of myself didn't bore you. But thank you so much, and thank you so much for the support, my friend. I really appreciate it. And I can't believe we're already at 11:30. So look at that, we're 11:28. So this live stream went really fast. I hope you guys enjoyed it in the different camera angles, and so sorry for all the issues that came along with it, with the sound and everything. But thanks for your patience with that. Night, John, and everybody. And Blue says she got an ex an airbrush last. She got her ex an airbrush last Christmas. Oh, that was great, Blue. That's fantastic. Air Todd, have a great night, everybody. We're at 11:29. I can't believe it. Thanks. Tone said it's coming out great. Thank you, everybody, for the birthday wishes. So little by little, we'll get there. We're in no rush, right, everybody? And Nameless says, Brett, every time you want junk food, force yourself to bite something healthy like carrots or celery. Eventually, our brain will associate. Oh, cool. That's good advice. Sam, thank you so much. And thank you so much for the super chats. I really appreciate it. Blue and John and Brad and Paul, you guys are amazing. Thank you so very much. Just helping support the channel and inspire me to just work harder. And I just thank you very much. Those free gloves are going out pretty soon. And Omas, thank you. Thank you so much, everybody. Paul, and send you the next. Oh, yes, I'll definitely take care of you. So I want you to work along with me. I got something special planned for you, Paul. I'm gonna exceed your expectations. That's what I try to do. Don't often deliver, but I try to exceed expectations. And take care, everybody. It's 11:30. Wow, this live stream went great. You know why it went so great and so fast? Because of great people like you all. This is one of the fastest live streams. I didn't even realize. I thought it would be like 10:30, and look, it's because of everybody here. Nameless, I'll get a glove out to you because you're one of the people who were there when we won. So, very cool. So take care, everybody. I hope you have a great night. And thank you for making my birthday so special. You really did it.